what was nearly banned may now be reborn. A battle over data, a fight over influence, and a secret deal that could shift the balance of global power. According to reports from Reuters and the Associated Press, the US and China are quietly shaping a framework deal that could decide the fate of TikTok in America while reshaping the trade war that never really ended. On the surface, it's just about an app, but beneath the surface, this is about who controls the future of information itself. The story begins with a deadline. By law, TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, was ordered to divest its US assets or face a nationwide ban. Billions of dollars, millions of users, political campaigns, influencers, global brands, suddenly all hanging by a thread. For months, the standoff grew colder. TikTok argued for its survival. US lawmakers warned of national security risks, and Beijing quietly tightened its control over what technology could or could not leave China. But then something shifted. Behind closed doors, American and Chinese negotiators met in Madrid. What emerged from those talks wasn't just a lifeline for TikTok. It was the outline of a deal that could ripple far beyond one app. But here's the part no one expected. The framework doesn't just keep TikTok alive, it puts it in new hands. US investors, led by tech giants like Oracle and powerful funds like Silver Lake, are preparing to take a controlling stake. Reports suggest up to 80% of TikTok's US business could fall under American control. The idea? Strip away China's direct influence, while still letting the platform run. On paper, it looks like a compromise. In practice, it raises bigger questions, because the heart of TikTok isn't just the app. It's the algorithm, that addictive, finely tuned engine that decides what you see and what you don't. And here lies the battle. Will ByteDance fully surrender its code, its intellectual property, the very DNA of the app, or will the US version of TikTok run on borrowed parts, still tethered to Beijing's influence? This detail was never supposed to surface. For Washington, the stakes are enormous. TikTok isn't just entertainment. It's a platform where elections are swayed, protests go viral, and global culture is shaped in real time. A tool of soft power, embedded in the daily lives of over 170 million Americans. Handing that influence to Beijing, critics argue, is like letting a rival superpower into your living room. For Beijing, the stakes are equally high. Losing control of TikTok's US operations could be seen as a humiliation, a retreat, a precedent for what Washington might demand next, in a tech war that already spans semiconductors, AI, and cybersecurity. But the story doesn't end there. Behind closed doors, a different story unfolds, because these negotiations aren't just about TikTok. They're about trade, about tariffs, supply chains, and the future of US-China relations. Framing TikTok as part of a broader deal, leaders in Washington and Beijing are testing whether old hostilities can be cooled by new bargains. A senior official described it as a win-win, but for those watching closely, it looks more like a knife's edge. If the deal holds, TikTok remains in the US. If it fails, the ban goes into effect, potentially triggering retaliation from China, including new trade restrictions, sanctions, or pressure on US companies operating in Chinese markets. And here's the blackout factor. This isn't just an American issue. Europe is watching. India is watching. Every nation caught in the middle of the US-China rivalry is asking, if TikTok can be forced into foreign control, what other tech giants could be next? Today it's social media. Tomorrow it could be AI, or quantum computing, or the platforms that control the flow of financial transactions worldwide. The truth cuts deeper than the headline. This isn't about one company. It's about whether the digital future will be split in two. An American sphere and a Chinese sphere. Two internets, two economies, two realities. The countdown is already running. Congress set deadlines. Beijing is reviewing export licenses. Lawyers are preparing structures for a new ownership model. But with every passing day, the uncertainty grows. And uncertainty in this arena is dangerous for businesses, for governments, for the billions of people who live in a world where data flows faster than borders can contain. So what happens next? Some say the deal will hold, an uneasy compromise that keeps TikTok online while giving Washington a symbolic win. Others warn the talks will collapse, dragging the US and China into a deeper spiral of mistrust and retaliation. What they didn't plan on was this. Even if the framework survives, questions about surveillance, censorship, and manipulation remain. Who will really control what Americans see on their screens? Who will protect the data of millions of users? And will this deal open the door to new bargains or new conflicts between the world's two largest economies? The story everyone thought was about a dancing app has become a test of global power, and the clock is ticking. The question is not whether TikTok survives. The question is, what kind of world will emerge if it does? What do you think? Is this a victory for US security or a dangerous illusion of control? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Blackout News, where the stories you were never meant to hear come to light.